All right, welcome to our highlights. Sport for Life Cochrane likes to highlight the sport organizations here in the community. Today we are meeting with Shelly from Cochrane Minor Hockey. It is the fall, so busy time of year for Shelly. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. Um, Shelly, why don't you just start by telling us a little bit about you, your role, and a little bit about the organization you work for?
Okay. So I've been working for Cochrane Minor Hockey for 10 years,
Wow.
and I'm in charge of operations coordinator. So everything from scheduling, registration, making sure our evaluations and all the kids are accounted for, and we assign numbers, so making sure everything matches up. So this is my busiest kind of time of the year, because you don't want somebody to come and check in and you don't have them on your list and you
Right.
don't have a number, right? So a little stressful, but I've mastered how to make sure everything is pretty on track, and I always have those extra numbers just in case we've missed somebody or we've had a late registration. But
Right.
yeah, it's wonderful.
So is it right to say that you're connected to every single parent that goes through Cochrane Minor Hockey?
Yes, you know what? It has been in 10 years. So my kids were young and in hockey when I got involved. And I got involved because I was volunteering and I just seen a need for some things that I thought were important to change. Like, for example, we don't have anything on the long weekend this weekend. We
Okay.
don't do any evaluations because that is all elite and AAA stuff is going on. So we like to give our families that last hurrah, that
Mm,
have go camping if you can, enjoy your
right.
last weekend before the crazy stuff starts. And then we kick off with we did have some camps this past week, but then we kick off with evaluations start next week for our double A's. So yeah, back to what you asked me about every family. I have made so many friends in this community just through hockey, and they know my face, but sometimes in a grocery store, somebody will be like, "Oh, hi, Shelly," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, okay, just remind me what your email is, because then I'll because some people have funny emails and then I
Right.
remember them if they don't have their last name, first name. So they'll tell me their email. I'm like, oh yeah, so you're so and so. So,
Sounds
but yeah, my husband says we can't go anywhere without somebody
mm.
knowing. And yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's the beauty of a smaller community like Cochrane, where yeah, everything is close by and everybody is connected. Um, so can you tell us more a little bit about Cochrane, like the organization, what you guys do, and what people can expect from joining?
Sure. We run several different streams of hockey. So we have our double A's, which is our Bow Valley Timberwolves, and they are involved in a central or South Central Alberta Hockey League. So that's one stream of hockey. Then we have our rep division, which is our travel league under Central Alberta Hockey League. And we also, in the last, I believe, 5 years, we always used to have a house league, but we've gone a little bit, it's more than a house. It's still competitive hockey, but you're only traveling within an 100-kilometer radius of Cochrane usually.
Okay.
And it's a non-contact program. So that stream of hockey is really great for people who are multi-sport people.
Mm.
You're not doing more than one practice a week and one game on the weekend. And it actually is our big, like our membership in our recreational house league, Rockies Hockey League is what we call it, is we're probably looking at about a 60-40 split. 60% of people
Okay.
register for that. And then we have a wonderful female division that has grown. I'm sure you've seen in the news, like they have just exploded this year. We have 2, 4, 6. We're going to have like close to 9 teams, I think, in female
Wow.
altogether. So,
Wow.
and then of course, our little ones, and those are my favorite registrations that come in, because these are the families that I can relate being
Mm.
exactly where they were, not knowing like anything about hockey.
Right.
And like, even to the point, like, what do they need for equipment? I mean, I feel like you can never just assume people understand it
Right.
all. And I go into when we open registration, just kind of, okay, breathe and remember that you were new. And so
Right.
that's our U7s and U9s. And we have, I think, 8 spots left in U7 to
Wow.
fill. And we are full in U9. So we take 128 kids in U7. And in U9, we take 143 plus 30 more, so 173.
Wow.
So yeah, so those, that's a huge amount of kids. So our registration base sits around 1,000 kids this year. Just, I think we're at
That's
1,100.
incredible. That
Yeah,
it blows my mind. That's such a big part of the Cochrane people, right? You are touching
yeah,
so many people. That's
yeah.
incredible.
And
And
it,
yeah, go ahead.
um, and in the last, like since I've been here, my first year, we had 457 registrations. So we've gone from 10 years ago, we've doubled in size, and we've also increased our program standards. So a
Okay.
lot of the reps get 2 practices a week and RHL gets 1, but we don't have to vet out ice outside of Cochrane
Okay.
other than Cremona for
Okay.
one of our practices. But
Mhm.
and Morley, we use the Morley rink as well for
Okay.
our double A's. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So you've been able to grow as the town grew over the past 10 years then, so that's encouraging.
yes, yeah. And I have to say that a few years back, Hockey Canada, maybe it has been 5, 6 years, they put out a wonderful study about half ice practice and how beneficial
Mm,
it was for kids to have half ice practices, more puck touches, and all that kind of stuff. So when that study came out and it was really emphasized, you could get more kids developing on the ice by splitting the ice in half. So we went that route with our younger divisions.
okay.
And we utilize the ice in Cochrane. Like, of course, it would be nice to have one more sheet,
Mm.
but we're not at the point where we could fill
Okay.
prime time hours at one more
Okay.
sheet. We're doing good, but I fear that ringette is growing, um,
Right.
recreational, the pond hockey is growing, figure skating. So my fear is like as we've grown, so have they. So
Right.
they need more ice too,
Right.
right? So yeah,
Yeah. So being conscious that you're not the only one needing the resources and how to be fair, but still get enough for your membership.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we make our blocks work one way
Right.
or another and then go outside because there is no negotiating, into anybody else's blocks. Sometimes if
Right.
I have an extra ice time, Cochrane Pond comes to us and
Okay.
we'll sell it to them. But
Okay.
yeah, it's wonderful
Yeah.
how
So
we all work together and it works.
right.
Yeah.
So there's a collaboration where there could be some competition and there's an actual collaboration and ultimately how can we serve the kids better, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm just curious to hear a little bit more about like so you're working for minor hockey, and then like there's a board, there's I'm assuming tons of volunteers. So can you tell us a little bit more about that and maybe opportunities for parents?
Sure. Yeah, we have a board um, that is wonderful. And every 2 years, there's a turnover,
Okay.
but we stagger our board positions so we're not losing everybody at the same time.
Smart.
And certain positions on the board have tons of work to do at this time of the year, and then it slows down a little bit.
Okay.
But there's always opportunity for parents to volunteer. We actually imposed in our registration a volunteer fee. Like if you choose not
Mm,
to, you pay a fee.
okay.
But they had selection of different volunteer jobs to choose in the last 2 years. And that has been so wonderful because everybody says they'll volunteer, but not having that report to call on them when you need them. And during evaluations, I would say we have upwards of 100 plus people who have to help out with check-in tables
Mm,
and just overseeing evaluations. And our directors do a lot of work and we use third-party evaluators, so that
okay.
takes that part out. But um, if anybody is interested in helping out or volunteering for something, I can find a job for them.
Just
Not a
call
problem.
Shelly.
Yeah, just send me an email.
And then you have your coaches for
Yes.
every group?
Yeah, so we have approximately 50, I think we're going to be 55 teams this year. So, and that might be even higher because we're splitting our U9s in half. So it'll be double the amount of teams there. So we need one head coach and one assistant coach for every team plus a manager. So
Oh,
at the end of the day, when we take that, we usually have 5 coaches per team, like 5 volunteer coaches slash manager. And everybody has to have specific qualifications.
okay.
So admin wise, that is kind of even busier than this time of year because Hockey Alberta is very strict that if you don't have your respect and sport coach, they won't approve your team to play.
Right.
So things like that.
Yeah.
So coaches can volunteer, people who have signed up their kids and are interested in coaching and assistant coaching. They can go onto our website, our ramp registration, and it's like a registration, but it's an application form.
I see.
And I submit that to our coach director, who then decides who goes where. So
Okay.
with chatting and seeing where kids place and stuff like that. So
Okay.
yeah.
So there's no shortage of needs in volunteers, coaches. So if someone's looking for something, you have a job for them.
Yes. And coaches, we are always looking for more in the
Right.
higher divisions.
Okay.
So in our U15s and U18s, we tend not to get as many coach applications.
Okay.
So that is a big shout out. We need the dads who, the boys are driving themselves to hockey now, but we need them to coach still
Right.
and get involved. So
Right.
yeah.
And I think that's something common we hear even in school or in sport organizations. When the kids are little, the parents are super hands-on, super involved. But as the kids get older, the parents tend to take get less involved, but there's still a big need for the parents there, right?
Yes, yeah. And we have several big events that happen in Cochrane Minor Hockey. So at the end of the year, we have a huge U18 tournament, which is called Yell Nets.
Oh,
And that committee gets up and going in October to start planning for that tournament. And then our little guys, I say little guys, the little ones, U7 and U9, they have a big tournament at the end of the year too. And the planning for those things start right away so that they're organized and ready to go. So parents that have kids in those divisions step up. Those are divisions that, we always like to kick off a hockey season for the younger divisions with a big end of year tournament. And then the last year for the graduating players, we do something special for them. And that's why we hold this tournament. And it raises a lot of money that comes back into Spray Lakes, like the sports center. We have donated a lot of money back into like score clocks and things like that.
right.
Bleachers over the years. They kind of tell us what their need is. And that Yell Nets committee is separate from Cochrane Minor Hockey,
I see. Okay.
but they operate independently, but kind of in conjunction with us. Like, so but it is wonderful that that's been a streamline for Spray Lakes to kind of say, oh, we have the score clock, or this isn't good and it's going to cost this much. We would like to have, the money would be put towards that. So yeah.
So again, that collaboration piece between your membership, the parents, but then giving back to the community that is providing the space and the resources for the kids to play.
Yes, a very exciting thing we're doing. This will be the first time we've ever done something like this, and we're hoping it'll be a yearly event, is in the spring. And I don't know the exact date, but we're going to hold an end of year awards gala. And it is going to be, I'm just throwing it out there because we kind of bounce things around, like maybe a jersey and jeans kind of, so not so formal, and we really want to start honoring those people who put the hours in volunteering and just showcase them and have a fun event that we also can do a little bit of fundraising with a silent auction and things like that to try to maintain our registration fees that we're not having to increase all the time. And also there's always things that we have to replace, like equipment and jerseys and stuff like that. So I'm excited about this gala because I think a lot of other organizations in the hockey world do these things.
Okay.
And I think until we got, like, there's definitely the space and availability for us to host a gala. And we're really hoping to do it in the curling rink, the new
Cool.
curling rink,
Yeah.
because the ice is out. So so far there's a tentative request for that. So once things start to come together, I'd love to get on here and just promote that as well.
Absolutely. Would be happy to. A gala sounds so fancy.
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Is there anything you'd like a parent to know if they're starting hockey, their kids are starting, or they're thinking about starting hockey? Anything you think they should know?
So I think my biggest pet peeve is that a lot of people will reach out to us just by email right away. But I encourage, and that would be the one thing I would tell anybody new to hockey, is go to our website. It is a wealth of information, and there's a lot of stuff you have to read on there, but anything and everything you need to know about how many kids are on a team, what are my practices going to be like how many times a week, how long is our season, when do we start. The only thing I don't put on there right away is their practice schedules for teams, because that is kind of changing dependent on how many teams we finalize. But go to the website, go to cochraneminorhockey.com and familiarize yourself with that. If you're a new parent, because anytime we send out an email, I'll post the information in our newsfeed. Because there's always those emails that go to junk and parents don't get the information. So this time of year is important. Go to the website, you'll see schedules, groupings, times for evaluations. Because I stress when there's people who have missed something that's crucial to their team placement, and the information was available to them and they didn't find it. So yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve. And that's what I tell my parents. So I'm like, go to our website. Everything is on there. I'll even send me an email. I'll send you the link to what you're looking for. So
I see. Okay, so parents, go to their website. All the information is there.
Exactly. And if they're struggling to find it, I'll point them in the right direction. I volunteer on the Central Alberta Hockey League as a vice president on that. And I've been with them for 10 years as well. And that is one thing I learned from that league, because we're a very large league, is you get a lot of questions. And I've learned not to answer. I send them the link to where to find the information, because while they're reading, they learn so much more too. So
and then they know where to go back to next time they have a question. Yeah, that's smart.
Yes.
And I think that's what I'm getting out of this interview, is that when you see a kid playing hockey, that kid got on the ice, but there's so much behind the scene as far as people, parents, paid employee, volunteers, are like the provincial organization. There's so much going on. And it's so great to talk to you and get just a snippet of like the world of hockey. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, like when we have new board members and stuff that come on board. I again, patience. I always, patience is, you need lots, because not everybody knows. Like, I've been doing this for 10 years, so I kind of know where to go to find information if I don't know it. But it is quite overwhelming to a new board member about like kind of seeing what all goes on behind the scenes. And when hockey is over in March, myself and Lori Lakeman, who work in the office, that is kind of our busy time because our year end, but then we're planning for next year's registration. So and come July, I have to have ice allocated and sent to the elite league. So there's never, everybody says, oh, you must be slow now. I never am slow. Like even through COVID, I took that time to learn just more and be able to put more stuff on our website. I took that time to really get things cleaned up and
Mm-hmm.
ready for things we can't get to in a normal
Yeah.
year. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was actually nice to have some downtime, but yeah, it was definitely utilized to make things better going
That's
forward.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
and thank you for mentioning that there's no downtime when comes to the hockey season for the behind the scene. Like there's always something that needs to be planned, scheduled, prepared, cleaned up
Yeah.
consistently. There's always something. So yeah,
Yeah.
so well, thank you for the great work you're doing, and I'm sure you have a team behind you and above and below and everywhere to help you with that. Was there anything else that you wanted to add, or anything we haven't touched on that you hoped we would mention?
No, I just really want to give a big shout out to all our parents.
Mm.
Um, Whether you volunteer or not, you're always so kind and appreciative with everything I do. And I often don't get to thank everybody, but I get some really heartwarming emails. So I do appreciate that. And our board, when we get those kudos, because of course there's moments when people aren't happy,
Right.
but I am so grateful. We have a community of people who truly, truly appreciate what we do to get kids playing sports. And yeah, that's why I do what I do. Like, I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
So,
It's a challenging job, but yeah, it's nice that people are appreciating, and ultimately I think if the kids are on the ice and happy, everything everything is good.
right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it's so fun to see the little ones. Like, my
Mhm.
boys are all grown up and done hockey now. So I would adopt. I would love to adopt a little, or if a mom just can't make it to the rink to go watch their son, just hit me up. I'll go watch and
You'll
cheer. And
watch.
I miss those days. So yeah.
So it's in your blood now.
Yeah,
All
life
right.
was busy with foreign hockey, and
Wow.
I worked. I was working for the hockey office, and my boys would say, like, "Mom, you're at the office till 11 o'clock at night." And but I being down at the rink, I was able to enjoy everything they were doing there
Yeah.
too all the time. So yeah, it's been wonderful. But thank you so much for having me on here to chat about Cochrane Minor Hockey. It was awesome.
It's been a pleasure, and like just want to mention, like, hockey, minor hockey is always involved in Sport for Life Cochrane. Whatever we're putting out there, you're up for it, so we appreciate it, and thank you for sharing today. It was very informative, and a reminder for all parents: go to their website.
Right. And one last reminder is our registration always opens June 1st of every
Always.
calendar
Oh,
year.
okay.
Always. So when you're looking to register, that is the magic date for returning members, and June 15 for new members.
Okay,
So
so
we never
June
change that.
1st, if you watch this video and you're interested, put that in your calendar right now so you don't miss out, because I think it's pretty competitive to enter, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, we are full. Like, we are
Right.
full other than U7.
Okay.
So we'll try to squeeze kids in, and we
Yeah.
definitely have people leave. So email me. I usually don't turn anyone away. So
Okay. All right. Okay, so June 1st, and if there's a need for more information, the website is there. And then obviously you are there to answer questions if the website doesn't answer.
yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Shelly, for joining me today. Wishing you and everybody else a happy long weekend. It's supposed to be beautiful, so enjoy.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks.